Hello there. I'm Dr. Azale, Chief Surgeon at the Dr. Azale and Didn't Finish His MD Mark Z Cosmetic Surgery Center. And here at the Dr. Azale and Didn't Finish His MD Mark Z Cosmetic Surgery Center, we specialize in helping LCS teams make suboptimal last-minute adjustments during the summer split to look their best or maybe just show up for playoffs.
Yeah, in this informational video, we'll cover some of our clients and the work that we did on them. Let's start with Golden Guardians. They came to us between splits with some big problems, primarily suffering from chronic dead top laner syndrome.
Been there. Most common symptom of this condition being loss of hair. The constant dyeing left hair clumps all over the map. Hair behind the tier 2, hair in the jungle.
Ugh, is that a missing ping on that hair?
Disgusting.
I hate to see it. And though technically not surgery, the way that we fixed this was giving them a new hat called Solo. You just cover up that problem and no one's the wiser.
Still counts.
Yeah, and since then, Golden Guardians are doing way better.
None of our clients came to us fresh off of a somewhat disappointing MSI, Cloud9. They hadn't seen the results they wanted, so they came to us for a consultation. And when you're trying to be the very best, sometimes you need to take risks in the pursuit of greatness.
Yes, and after some intense deliberation between the two of us, we went for a bot lane foot transplant, also known as a king surgery.
Jesus, Mark, is that 2 left feet?
Indeed. Now, despite what some people might call a revolutionary procedure,
No one
the patient actually struggled to adapt somehow, and they're looking far less stable than Spring.
Their fault, not ours.
Anyways, regardless, Cloud9 asked us to reverse the procedure, and unfortunately, reattaching the correct foot isn't as clean as a Control-Z, and so, despite the return to Sven, the remaining scar tissue will remain. Sorry about that, it's very difficult reading these graphs. Yes, this 5-5 summer split record will unfortunately scar them for the rest of the split.
Some people just don't appreciate greatness. This brings us to an important issue. Knowing when enough is enough. I mean, while cosmetic roster surgery can lead to fantastic results quickly, it can't solve every problem with it.
It's not a magic bullet, is it?
No. Dignitas already came to us twice. We did a double mid lane bypass and a tilted jungle extraction.
What more do these expect from us?
We are miracle workers here, Mark. We're budget surgeons for a reason.
That's the truth. I mean, our entrance is in a back alleyway. Now, not everyone needs cosmetic roster surgery either. Some teams own their roster. TSM and CLG are both perfect the way they are.
CLG.
Come on, man.
Okay. Apologies. Our last client is Team Liquid. Let's take a look.
Wow, that is incredible. Did we do that?
There's absolutely no way we could have done that, Mark.
Damn it.
That's pre-op. We tried grafting in an Academy top laner, and we definitely botched it.
Well, some things get away from you. Can't get them all right.
That's true. Oh my God. Are we losing the patient? The
Did you hear
potent
that?
jungler just dropped too, Mark.
Oh my God, we gotta save them!
I can't lose my license.
Let's go!
Table! On the table, flatlining.
Don't trust them to try and fix that problem.
Sometimes I feel like I have 2 left feet, so maybe I went to them in the back alley at some point and didn't even realize it.
Get your money back.
Yeah. Which would you trust in surgery more, Mark Z or Azale, if it was on you?
I feel like Azale, honestly.
Azale
Sorry,
seems.
Mark.
Oh yeah, Azale seems more confident with the malpractice. So he's more honest about it.
I'll have to look up the Yelp reviews on that one. But everybody, welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. We are getting ready for Golden Guardians taking on Immortals. And it's an exciting matchup given the growth that we have seen from both of these squads coming into summer.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Golden Guardians in particular. I think the level of play that we've exhibited from them. We've heard from Blaze Olive, when he was talking about with the changes, specifically Solo in the top lane, it feels like they're a lot more confident. When things go wrong, they're slower paced. They don't run down like lemmings, and I thought that's been a great thing, a great change in their development.
Yeah, I mean, and I think another thing is just that it's allowed people like a Blaze Olive to shine, right?
Yes.
Once you no longer have kind of such a large pain point on the map, or just like a lot more stability, you can go forward and, he has proven himself to be an incredible mid laner. So.
Exactly, and it's always been an issue of like, if the first 10 minutes consistently in games are just chaotic, then what do you actually learn on stage, right? So the fact that we're having now stable first 10 minutes for this team, it feels like they're getting better across the split. And so even though they ended up losing to Cloud9, it was very much something now that they can review as a team.
Yep.
Think, okay, now we had all the control. If Alistar was in a control bush, like in a different position where we can, peel off and take the fight, great. Something like that. Or even just saying, don't do it to begin with. Either way, like these are lessons they can learn, and it's nice to see.
On the other side of the equation, though, we've got Immortals still looking to learn some lessons in their process.
Yeah, so I've been pretty open with my love of Immortals and some of the things that they have been doing even since last split. And, you know, consistency has always been the issue. I know we had Gil Hoto on last week where he's like, having these champion pools is a blessing and a curse because we can do too many things maybe. So sometimes we draft ourselves into a corner, we want to go for something, and then we switch it up immediately the next week. So I still think the name of the game for them is consistency, but you can also see like really marked improvement in the way they move around the map, in the way that they're coordinated as a unit around vision placement, around trying to set up for some of these neutral objectives. I think it's definitely a drastic improvement from the inconsistency I saw from spring to now. Still slightly inconsistent, but like a lot better and a lot more unified as a team in summer.
Yeah, the intent is there. This is one of the misplays, but the intent was getting to the objective first, waiting for Revenge to be there with the Eclipse that he had just purchased, all of these things. And, you know, they fell behind, but they got back right into the game hunting for plays like these. And so even though, yeah, I understand the back half of this play, unlucky for CLG, for the side of Immortals, one thing that I love to see from this team is like the consistency of playing around their vision. I think they've gotten much better at that. So the marked progress is resulting in a lot of their wins. And also just the comps is great.
Yeah.
The diversity, it feels like they understand how to really play the comp. The Braum, Karma going up against CLG, recognizing if we're just kiting back consistently, like, and play it well. I've enjoyed it a lot. And so I'm hype on this team. A little bit more so than Golden Guardians, but I think they're both starting in different places. So I want to see where, I definitely am interested in this game.
Yeah, I was going to say I love their response to CLG, and I feel like this is a team that can be very thoughtful and coordinated. It's obviously something where they looked at CLG's composition and they're like, hey, we can play a comp that counters this. We'll just let them have everything they want, and then we will play something with a lot of disengage. And I appreciated that they had the confidence in their own players and their champion pool and their coordination to be able to execute it.
Yeah, and so for me, for Golden Guardians, it's about individuals rising up, like as you mentioned, Blaze Olive, that's getting better and better. And I think Iconic as well has shown brighter days, so this is great. And then for Immortals, they're actually punching up in the standings.
Yeah, let's go.
So they're the team that's like, okay, it feels like we're going to be going to playoffs when that conversation starts, and it's just rising up now. And they're about to hit above 500. They're 13-50 now, and it's just only getting better.
Yeah, first team to break the bongo comp as declared by Guillermo, looking to pull together some more wins for themselves. Let's go ahead and dive into our final matchup and send it over to Pastry and Crumbs for the sweet, sweet call.
Thank you very much. It is time for our final game of Saturday here. Crumbs, GG versus IMT. Maybe not the high-profile matchup we just had, although that was quite quick. Definitely an exciting one, though. I think Raz kind of highlighting why, right? These are two teams definitely in different places to start the season, but both on the rise.
I think when we look at the end of the split and who rises to the top in the playoffs race, though, we will look back on this and consider this a high-profile match because IMT have been crushing. Their trajectory this Summer Split has been phenomenal. No one saw it coming. They have a meteoric rise of improvement, and a match here against Golden Guardians could just show us how dominant this team has become. It's one of the teams that isn't really at the top because of their spring split at the moment, but they have been able to contend against every other team. They even took the first win against 100 Thieves.
And I like it, right? Because it's kind of a representation of what the change in the format did, right? You don't have a particularly good spring. Yeah, even if you win a lot, you're going to struggle. But if you do win a lot, then you can look a lot better coming into the late playoffs here for summer. So still plenty of time before we even get close to that, Crumbs. It's not even halfway through the split just yet. But IMT and Golden Guardians can certainly be happy with where they're sitting.
Yeah, they really can be. And for Golden Guardians, they have been improving. And I think yesterday's match against Cloud9 was a very important one for them because the first time they played, they actually did take down Cloud9. So as a top opponent, they had the confidence that they could still beat them again. And that game really came down to that single play around Baron. They had full control. They had the Infernal Soul at that time, but still didn't win. And just being able to shore up those mid to late game shot calls should be enough to get these teams a little bit more wins that they really need, because right now they're going to be fighting for that 8th spot, that 8th seed into the playoff race. It really feels like the top 7 is starting to get fairly secured. So Golden Guardians, any improvement that they can make now, especially when it comes to those games later against CLG and FlyQuest, will really make the difference if they go to playoffs or not.
Right. We always say every game matters because it does. But for Golden Guardians, it might matter the most, right? They started in the worst position possible, coming out of spring into the summer. So even though they have picked up some high-profile wins, obviously the number of wins they have to get is, unfortunately for them, just larger than everybody else's. Because hey, that's how it works.
Yes, it's a tall order for Golden Guardians, but I like the fact that they have remain with high spirits. I think that's a very difficult position to be in when you're at the bottom and still struggling to get the wins, when you're so close but yet so far at the same time. And maintaining the morale over a very long split is one of the most important things inside the LCS, whether it's the endurance of actually maintaining your energy, maintaining your motivation, but actually believing that you can win and improve is another thing altogether. And thus far, Golden Guardians does not seem phased.
No, they don't. And I think, I don't want to necessarily say that, like, that's a game they should have won yesterday versus Cloud9, but that was, one reverse mistake from probably being a Golden Guardians win, right? A very good-looking game until, unfortunately, around the Baron Pit, everything fell apart, which happens, right? At least that's an easy thing to diagnose, Crumbs, right? That is not a complex game to look through and be like, what happened in this game?
You got to lead. You got to lead. You got the Infernal Soul, so there's a lot of things that you want to repeat from that game, which is more than a lot of teams that have been at the bottom of the standings throughout the years can say. A lot of the times you just get blown out, never even had a chance, but Golden Guardians has been consistent in getting leads and getting individual members outplays, solo kills. Solo just yesterday taking down Perks, almost got away with it without trading 1-for-1. And so the team is aggressive. It's just about those situations when you have to shot call, and you honestly can't blame them too much for it because you have Chimes and Iconic, who are new to the split, and these are new players that are going to be dealing with situations in the LCS that are often something that you just don't get to practice in Academy or in Collegiate. And the fact that you were just a little bit too separated from the enemy team, and so what you thought would be a quick turn ends up being the opportunity that Cloud9 takes to counter-engage on you.
Yeah, not bad for 5NA over on the Golden Guardians side, especially with the changes they made. But we'll see what happens here in this game, because right now for these two teams, this dub is all that matters. Fans are done in Phase 1, by the way. We'll go in reverse order this time. Thresh, Rumble, Karma, Lulu, Lee Sin, Varus. Not exact reverse order, but you know what? We'll figure it out. Akali, the first pick, though, for IMT, which makes sense, because Lee Sin is banned.
Yeah, they want to take this champion, knowing that there's not going to be anybody to reveal her. We just saw earlier today Jenkins on the Akali in the top lane and how powerful that was when he could linger in the Shroud in the middle of the fight. Very powerful, and you have to consider it still as a flex pick for IMT. Revenge and Insanity won't shy away from this pick, but it won't come at an easy price. It's going to be Viego that you're trading for it, and the Kalista, which 6A played yesterday, looked good on it, made Chime a bit better on it as well, and it will give Golden Guardians some more tools for engage and also lane dominance.
Yeah, Blaze Olive guy's not bad on Viego, as we've seen a couple of times already this split. But we'll see, as looks like Xin Zhao is going to make it back into the draft here. Unfortunately for Xerxes, he had to give up his great love Udyr.
Yeah.
But it's now been replaced by Xin Zhao.
Everyone had to, sadly, if you were very acquainted with him. I frankly really enjoyed him while we had him here. A very fun champion. The skins, I think, made him that much more entertaining. Definitely not Udyr. Shout out to the skin designers for that one.
All right, what's the pick here for IMT? 10 seconds on this third pick here in phase number 1.
Well, so far the identity of the competition is just diving in. So yeah, just locking in the Nocturne. You already secure your top side. Triple melee diver. So the bot lane will have to keep that in mind as they select their draft in their next 2 picks. And Golden Guardians now know exactly what IMT is interested in doing, just diving in. And so picks like Braum could get a lot of value, or if you choose to go with something that just beats the lane for both the Nocturne and the Akali, then you could lock that in right now. Instead, it will be the Gragas, a good disengage tool against what IMT is trying to do.
Yeah, presumably Iconic's champion, but could be Chime's champion, I suppose. I do also like Nocturne in general. I think Insanity has been one of the more frequent players of this champion this split, and has looked quite good on it as well. So definitely like a core that IMT have played a few times, or at least a version of this they've played, if not this exact 3. But again, Golden Guardians can obviously anticipate that, so how they navigate the rest of this draft and what their plan is will be interesting to see. Is Tristana is going to get banned away from Raze. That seems quite sensible. Raze Trist is pretty good, but Lucian is going to get taken out here as well.
The key thing for the Nocturne on Insanity has been the use of Paranoia. We've interviewed IMT members, and that is what they cite to be such a powerful tool for team fighting. It has allowed Destiny to really shine in these fights. You see how important he is to the team. With the first rotation Thresh ban, he has been very good on almost every champion, and if he gets the flanks, like we've seen him on the Rakan, shutting the lights off makes it so much harder for the enemy team to scout him out and react in time before it's too late.
All right, well, who's getting the Nautilus? That's the real question here. Is it Golden Guardians, is it IMT, or is it no one? If IMT want to maybe take that one away, but thinking about their solo lanes a little bit more, because again, they are expecting Gragas to not go in one of them. There is some AP threat from Iconic. Gragas isn't the highest damage AP jungler, but potentially opens up double 80 solos for Golden Guardians if they still want to draft that. But I think keeping flexible here, picking a support kind of makes sense for how Golden Guardians are currently set up.
Yeah, and the fact that IMT still has both slots open for their bottom lane means that if Golden Guardians take their support right now, they could just get countered right away. IMT can choose to take exactly their laners.
Ooh.
So the set has to be considered as a flex, however, and so I like this pick out of Golden Guardians. It's going to make sense with their composition, good for peeling the divers of IMT, and if they choose to go with just a hard engaged support in the bot lane, whether it's the Nautilus or the Leona, you can always put the set down there. We have seen Huhi from 100 Thieves be so effective at this pick that if Chime takes it, I wouldn't be surprised to see him find some similar success.
All right, we'll consider a few different champions perhaps, but it will be Ezreal for Raze at the end of it all. I do like Set for the reasons you mentioned. I believe we've seen a Blaze Olive player already. I'm sure it's something Solo is comfortable with, so definitely have the flexibility there and potentially to support as well, as you mentioned. I feel like this is going to happen every time now. As he flashes the Yuumi and then taunts Chime a little there with the Bard, but looks like Braum going to be the lock-in here.
I'm a big fan of Braum when your composition is going to have so many members auto-attacking. Ezreal, Nocturne, Xin, and even Akali to an extent. So there's going to be a lot of value here, especially for dealing with the Gragas. The Unbreakable will stop his cast, and so the peel from Iconic will be much harder to pull off here. It's a pick that has been steadily rising in priority as teams prioritize not just melee champions, but also are trying to just hard dive in.
Do it.
Braum is the anti-dive. So close. One day we'll get him to play Bard.
I'm sure he'll play it one day. But Rakan instead, definitely something where it feels a bit more comfortable. Maybe Golden Guardians want a bit more engaged. Hard to say exactly. But kind of a cool draft between the two. I think Gragas as an AP jungler is interesting to me, right? We typically don't think of him. We think of Rumble, Nidalee. I guess Diana is another big one now as well. And Iconic's played all of those, I think.
I think we got something interesting in this draft that we had earlier today. Only 2 ADs, only 2 ranged champions. It's only Ezreal and Kalista. Everybody has, I mean, you can count Rakan as a range, sure, but everybody else is just trying to fight, trying to get into the mix, and so it's gonna be bloody. It's gonna be just an all-out brawl as every lane is just gonna be constantly harassing each other. So the junglers, both great at ganking, will have a field day if they can make it to the lanes first.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it could be a pretty volatile game here. Well, we'll see what happens here. IMT, again, getting close to breaking 500 here. This win obviously will contribute towards the right direction for that particular objective. For Golden Guardians, again, total record throughout the year, not looking so hot, but just grab as many wins as you can. You only have to get to 8.
Yeah, just snatch them while you can.
You have a lot of time. You almost beat Cloud9 yesterday.
It's like a what do we call it? Black Friday sale. You just got to sneak in there and grab whatever you can. Doesn't matter. Just hold on to it. It's at a discount if you can get it here against an IMT lineup that still has yet to fully reach its final form. It would be exactly the right time for Golden Guardians to get it before IMT perhaps gets too good and you can no longer take a win against
It's a good point. It doesn't get easier as the season gets
it actually gets harder.
As all the teams do improve, but everyone's going to charge out onto the Rift to kick things off, and I see quite a few people in the top lane for IMT.
With the Braum and the Ezreal, they could find a cheese. Solo usually is pretty good at seeing these coming. But if he stands up here, they can route around him.
Oh, Solo.
Oh, yeah, he knows.
Intuition is telling him that, ooh, I like this look. Solo not going to be
no, too late.
looking, and now Solo going to get stunned. Don't burn the flash. It's not worth it. Solo just accepts his fate, and first blood goes to Xerxes.
Oh, first blood to the jungler. That's the kind of first blood that hurts the most. Now Iconic's job is going to get real tough. Xerxes has been so good this split, and now gets to start with a longsword. He's going to dominate the matchup. Iconic won't be able to contest him at any point in the jungle now, so IMT is already off to a tremendous start.
Yeah, that's actually a huge buff for Xin early on. And hey, look at that! If you want to check out the pre-preview, you can see how the jungle matchup's going to be different with Xerxes starting his clear with a longsword.
I would watch the longsword side of this, but you can put both up at the same time and see how Iconic actually avoids Xin every step of the way.
All right, well, IMT even going to help out Xerxes here. Doesn't need it, but going to take it, I suppose. Longsword wasn't enough. Has to call both Raze and Destiny in to help out as well.
They're enhancing their strength. Xerxes already going to be strong, so if they can help him get out on the map even sooner, he could do more damage to Iconic and the rest of Golden Guardians. And especially that they're clearing that ward, they won't actually know where Xerxes chooses to path. If he's trying to go up to the top side, gonna grab blue afterwards, or bot side, so it's gonna let the laners of IMT play more aggressive, as Golden Guardians has to respect that an even stronger jungler is out on the map.
Right, well, Crumbs, if you've got some weekend errands to run and don't want to miss any of the matchup, you can also check out the audio-only cast of the games through League Day. Be sure to check that out as well. It's a fun time.
I always have errands to run, and the sad reality of it is that it doesn't stop at the weekends. It's everywhere. It's constant. You got to just get in line for a lot of places that have a lot of people lining up for them. I'm talking about the DMV again. Just don't like that place. But if you're there, you could just pop a chair, and you can listen to probably the whole day of LCS before you actually get to the front of the line.
Maybe go back. Here's some older ones. If you missed them a bit more of the weekend than you intended.
You know it's serious when people are bringing lawn chairs to line up for the DMV.
Yeah, that's true. It is a line so famously long, I think I knew about it before I moved.
Right.
That's the reputation at the DMV. It's global, Crumb.
Oh, man. You never wanted it to be that way, but it is.
All right, well, mid lane. This is a fun one here. Insanity, though, getting the damage down. Nocturne just feels so good against these melee champions, but also Viego can get work done as well. So curious to see how it develops. Raze, though, oh, he does just get clipped, but a nice buffer of the shift gets him out of there. And oh, look who it is now. Solo's going to commit the flash, but Xerxes says, I still have mine as well. And Solo is going to be second-blooded as well.
Such a good time for IMT. He wanted to gift it over to his top laner, but it doesn't matter. He takes it, and now they're going to crash the wave. It's a great timing for the gank, because the wave is pushing. Solo is trying to make sure that it bounces away from him.
Oh.
The set dive is a dangerous one.
That's
but,
true.
you know, that gank works because of the start from Xerxes, because they cleared the ward, so he doesn't actually know how much time he's got. And exactly when the ward dies, he ends up falling.
That's so nice. Yeah, Solo couldn't have known, but unfortunately for him, going to cost him his life.
It's well played mechanically, too, out of Xerxes to flash first, get the red buff slow, and then follow with the audacious charge. Had he charged first, Solo could probably get away from that one.
All right, we'll trying to get some investigative work done. Does have a ward on the Krogs, but that is not going to help the top side situation that is developing, as Xerxes off to a flying start here with those 2 kills already done. That's an Iron Spike Whip already finished, so the Zinzal speed is increasing rapidly, Crumbs.
Yeah, the champion is also getting a ton of bans and recognition as a power pick around our matches. It doesn't even matter if he has Karma or Lulu. They are just picking him constantly because of his way to teamfight. Just press R, and if you're not in melee range, you just can't hit him. It's literally invulnerable.
All right, well, I feel like more top lane attention is going to happen, because you can see why Solo's getting ganked. He's really able to trade nicely up against Revenge, as Stixay does get some damage done onto Raze. Nice proc of the Guardian there for Braum, hopping onto Raze to reduce some of that damage. Solo, though, continuing to get aggressive here. W's the incoming tower shot there as Revenge pops into the shell, but Solo just playing up and aggressive. I mean, despite the 2 deaths, he's up 15-ish CS. I mean, Revenge will catch up here as this big wave crashes, but now, okay, Iconic's not there, and he doesn't know that, but if he was, it could be a very dead Akali.
It's a fat wave there for Solo to crash into the turret, and he's not there because they actually should know from Xerxes' gank path into the top side the route that Xerxes took. Starting to the bot side, they already had vision on his first clear, so he's expected to just return to the bottom and path back to the top side. So had he gone for another gank up here into the top lane, he would have foregone the spawn of his camps. We still are in the meta where the junglers do want to be clearing quite quickly. You don't want to be leaving these camps up available for too long, as now Iconic makes his way down.
Oh, this time Stux. Iconic, though, not going to go over the blast cone just yet. Chime, they're going to dive in to save him. Stepping forward, actually, eating the incoming cast, as Raze is continuing to get poked out here by the Callista. 6A and Chime able to play aggressively. It's not built much of a lead yet, but at least they've got some pressure on the tower. Potentially could look to take a plate and maybe build an even bigger lead, as mid lane continues to be a brawl here between these two.
And Iconic showing down there should cover for Solo in the top side, as now he can continue to crash the wave as Xerxes just got spotted. You got to clear that ward. Okay, there we go. Good. Go back, clear those. That is one of my pet peeves in League. When you see somebody go by a ward and they don't notice it and it goes entirely forgotten, it really hurts to see. And in fact, coaches usually track those. Like, you did this a lot of times. You need to stop that. You need to kill that vision.
All right, well, TP's traded here in mid. Both Nocturne and Viego will return to the mid lane, but IMT with the first move over towards this top side of the map. There's no Herald yet, though, so that means top lane is the problem once again. Solo is going to get himself dove, but not before Xerxes steals the red buff.
Good timing for this one. Insanity had just TP'd into the mid lane, so he's able to push the wave, rotate over to help out Xerxes. Timed with Revenge's crash of the top wave. So this is just the junglers understanding the timing of their buffs and their opponent's buffs, and using the windows that they have with the lanes to invade and see if they can pick somebody off. But now we're at a stage where Chime decides to join the rest of the team. There is a Rakan on the map, and if he starts joining up with Iconic that now has the Predator boots, it could really catch somebody out.
Yeah, I think Iconic's first play here with this Predator does have to be pretty good. Top lane's in a decent spot right now. Solo's actually been holding the wave up there for a bit, so Revenge with no flash. It is Ignite, Teleport Akali. Does have the ultimates, does have all her mobility, right? It is not easy to gank an Akali, but if no one comes, Solo's just going to keep losing the CS lead, and if Iconic comes at the right time, the Revenge is going to have it even worse than that.
Yeah, he really is. And Solo was slow pushing that wave because he knows it's really building up, so doesn't want to push it too fast. Would rather have a giant wave crash that defends him, that makes it much easier for the rest of the team to back him up once it puts him in a position that overextends him. And so thus far, we'll just have a nice trade back and forth. The fact that the gold stays relatively even is a good sign. It's healthy for Golden Guardians that Solo has been attacked so much and still is able to retain an advantage in the lane is really impressive. He's always been a good weak side player, and a pick like Set just makes so much sense for him right now. He's gonna constantly be able to offer value to his team, and it's exactly the pick that is so difficult to dive. Once you have your level 6 available, he's so good at trading 1-for-1 at the very least on a trade that might send 3 people his way.
That was without a recall, actually. Revenge had shopped somewhat recently, had that blasting one ready, so now Solo goes back, spends his gold, and he goes from 2 Doran's items to Ruby Crystal Boots, Control One, and an Iron Spike Whip, so Revenge is going to get a little bit of free time to try and play catch up on the minions here, but Solo's pressure, if this lane keeps isolated, will not stop on Akali.
Yeah, and that's going to be really helpful to keep the Akali pressure down because it keeps drawing out the rest of IMT to go into the top side, and it's freeing up Iconic to go bottom. Solo, though, playing with fire, seeing if he can stop this from happening, but now Golden Guardians is going in.
Try and pop the ulti, looking for Raze, does get the knock up there, Iconic with the combo, Raze! Gonna go down to Styx here, but here comes Nocturne. Fate's Core, though, pops back in. That's an interesting play from Chime, trying to get a second knock up there as Golden Guardians doing a redive here. Looks a little dicey, but they are gonna go for it instead. Double flashes burnt there. Destiny out of there, Insanity looking to get out as well. And Stixay does take out Destiny, so very successful actually for Golden Guardians. They find both kills there.
Super well played out of Golden Guardians, and they can go for that because Solo's information tells them that Xerxes is top. They're trying to answer, and so they send everybody to the bottom lane, knowing that there's not going to be a counterplay. There's no teleport on Revenge. Xerxes is top. They know it's going to be a 4-on-2, and then when Insanity joins, they can attempt a kill again. They get in, they get out, and they have been so good at finding advantages in the bottom lane as a response to their opponent's play. Chime is going in before Iconic is here, but the CC lasts long enough that Raze is instantly burst down. Insanity is ulting to try to join the fight right away, but he finds himself already 1v3ing, and he really cannot stand here. Golden Guardians does a good job in having a Blaze Olive tank first, but IMT do an even better one in flashing out of the knockup quickly.
And then they go back in, Blaze Olive pops the ulti, and Styx is able to find the kill. Really well played by Golden Guardians. Xerxes, oh, he's going to take the dragon. That's nice. Just barely short on the smite, but that doesn't matter, thankfully for him. Now has the Herald and the first dragon both taken, so that's nice for IMT.
That's still the answer from the earlier play that Golden Guardians made. They had reset, so Xerxes had to go for something, and he had that enhanced recall from the Rift Herald, so he could have based, made it back to the bot side, take the dragon before Golden Guardians recouped, and was able to continue to pressure their lanes. They now warding out, and now they're going to be able to attack this bottom lane if they want to do so once more, because there's no summoners, and you still have a Kalista with an item advantage. So this would be the play that Golden Guardians can look for to snowball the game. Continue to dive the bottom lane, and see if you can even incorporate solo into the mix.
And a nice ward there, actually spotted by Insanity's defensive control ward. So Blaze Olive did dip in to get a bit of vision. Actually looking nice in the 1v1 too. As up about 15 CS, I guess Insanity's run down maybe as part of that. As Blaze Olive, I think, was able to grab some of the lane CS there in bottom lane. But regardless, looking good there for the Viego right now as Iconic maybe looking to walk in. Golden Guardians wanting to stay aggressive here again. Chime, so much mobility here alongside the Kalista. And they are going to initiate into the 2v2. Fate's call though not popped yet. Chime looking low. There's the ulti now being pulled, and that's going to be defensive. As Chime is going to go back to safety.
They have to retreat because Insanity was coming down. Viego is trying to make it, but Nocturne's ultimate would make it into the fight first. So despite Kalista being stronger, they just can't risk being in range of Insanity. Still level 1 ultimate, but a 1v1 top is happening.
Yep, Ignite down. There's the ulti out of Solo. Flashes out. Very smart play out of Solo. As bottom lane is still happening. Iconic! What an ulti into the double alley-oop out of Chime! Goes Golden in the air. Very fancy as Xerxes diving in trying to find something, but he'll get nothing as Styx say, he does burn down.
Oh, but it's still a great play from Iconic. They're able to now crash this wave. Iconic sticks around. IMT thought that they had backed off. They hadn't seen the Gragas anywhere on the map. They thought that when Insanity and a Blaze Olive returned to the lane that it was safe, but with the Predator boots, he makes it faster into the fight, punts him into the team, and IMT is lucky to have gotten a kill back. That was a big bounty to get. Xerxes now has his Gore Drinker completed. He's got all the kills for IMT, but everything that IMT has been working for has been answered better by Golden Guardians. Let's see how this actually started, because they overextend. They now see him. The initial barrel comes out. It's like, oh, we got to retreat. We got to get out of here. But it's too late. The Ezreal's already in.
And again, Styx, Xerxes just going for the all-in there. Styx even flash at the end is so close, but Chime, no E left.
He's on fire.
The red smite. Too powerful. All right, well, Whiff-Tail's been popped in the mid. That's plates over to Insanity. But dealt with swiftly there. Power Plating's fallen off as well, so I don't think Insanity will get the one that he could grab. He's definitely not getting the last one at this rate. So he's going to miss 2 at the end of it all.
He's going to miss a few, but more importantly, he needs to take down this turret for roaming. Level 11 is going to happen soon for the Nocturne, and you just got to get value out of the Nocturne ultimate. He's already used it once, and it didn't work out. It got more members killed in the bottom lane, so the Nocturne Paranoia really needs to come in clutch to help in the sides. We already see Stixxay and Solo not having flash, so the fact that a Blaze Olive has been able to push mid so much through the help of Iconic attempting to ward deeply on IMT's side has now kept Insanity so far into his own lane that he doesn't have the range to help the side lanes and take advantage of the Nocturne ultimate.
I really like these little looks from a Blaze Olive too, as Xerxes will finish getting his red buff and hit level 10 as a result. Just, constantly putting Mister on there, threatening that he could be maybe looking for you in a jungle camp, clearing out the vision, most importantly. And with the Divine Sunder, Viego's kind of ready to go. Insanity not too far away from his item. Looks like Strybreaker is going to be the selection, which it has been, I believe, every game for him at least. But, Golden Guardians, despite the gold being close, definitely feel ready to fight. Chime at it again. Ulti onto Xerxes, knocks him back in. Now the lights are out. Nocturne going back through his Destiny. We're going to try and save the day, but the Fate's Call there back onto Destiny. Great! Ulti out of Ezreal. So much damage across the members of Golden Guardians. As Insanity will find the first kill, and now Stixxay is going to be left out to dry.
Oh, IMT was ready for the bait. Golden Guardians thought they actually were surprising IMT with that play. They were lingering around.
Oh.
And meanwhile, Revenge got a solo kill.
Oh.
That is a huge momentum swing.
Wait, you got it without Ignite.
Yeah, I'd like to see what happened there because Solo, I think, already had the completed Stride Breaker. So just an outplay out of Revenge, it seems, in the top side. Both will have teleport up for this next fight, but Golden Guardians really committed so much to trying to catch out Xerxes, but he already had the ultimate pop. He's so tanky, and by that time, he was able to actually... Wait a minute. Okay, he's trying to stop the teleport. He's trying to make sure that his team can get in, but just puts himself so in Akali's territory. He just gets... It kind of made it look easy. It doesn't look like it was close at all. He used everything on Revenge and still got stopped.
Akali definitely has, I think, turned the corner in the matchup, it's fair to say. So Solo now in a CS deficit, and definitely feeling the pressure of the 1v1, especially because Revenge will always have Ignite ready when it's up, right? Like, Solo can never Ignite you in 1v1.
Yeah.
So Xerxes top of the charts as far as gold goes right now. Oop, Scuttle Grab goes to Iconic. Blue buff, though, is still under contest as Destiny's going to try and kick him out of the jungle. Golden Guardians, you know, gold not too far behind, do have maybe this Rift Herald as they are looking to take it down. Trying to find a flank angle here. He's hiding in this brush with the sweeper.
Solo is rotating over, so Golden Guardians knows they can take a 5v5 here if IMT chooses, but Akali's still in the bottom lane, and they also saw Insanity recall. His ultimate was still not available, so Golden Guardians used that window to take an objective. Now, where they use this dragon is going to be critical, because, or the Herald rather. Mid lane is obviously the place you'd want to crack. You want to keep IMT as pushed in as possible. We've got Destiny. Where is he?
Just chilling. All right, flash over the wall. Very nice angle. TP now coming in. Xerxes looking to maybe find the fight. Golden Guardians will happily fight, but Xin is so tanky. Trying to find someone to disrupt, but Revenge now diving in and taking out Stixxay. And Destiny was a great bait as Raze is taking down Chime. And the rest of Golden Guardians are hanging out in the pit with the lights off, and that's a double kill out of the Ezreal. Make it 3, and the man's got a quadra. That's the ace out of IMT.
Just like that, Destiny is caught inside the pit, but Golden Guardians take the bait. Xerxes is right there and lives for so long. Dashes into every member of Golden Guardians, has the Gore Drinker, the ultimate to stay alive, and by that time, everybody else joins the fight. Revenge had the teleport, was able to assist, and when the lights get shut out, Golden Guardians just doesn't know how to react. They see him cross the Scuttle Crab. They see him without anybody else. He's caught. They go after him. Everybody's committing abilities, but he buys so much time, flashing over, and now it's Golden Guardians who's caught out of position. They burn everything after Xerxes, but he lives for so long. He's still alive after they kill Stixxay. He's still dashing in. They have to burn even more CC, and the man is still alive. They put so much for him, and you gotta remember, he started with all the gold. He got the first blood. He got the kill in the top lane. He got the counter kill in the bottom lane, the bounty from the Kalista. That is why he's so accelerated. So Golden Guardians thought they had a pick, but he was the most fed member on IMT. Much harder to take down than they anticipated.
I love Raze, but that was one of the easiest quarters of his career, I think. Just had everyone take it for him. As the fight has started again, it's Solo looking for the dunk. Back towards the rest of Golden Guardians. Now Insanity stride breaks onto old Solo. Viego reinforcing. W going to be popped just barely out of the fear duration as the True Shot Barrage won't quite connect. But Fate's Call popped to Stixxay in trouble. Revenge making it happen. So pesky for AD carries. Paranoia popped, Raze unstoppable, and everybody's out of the blast cone. Woo. But one will fall as Stixxay gets clipped by the Spear of Xin Zhao.
The spear over the wall is so long range that it actually takes out Stixxay in that fight. IMT is fighting so much better against Golden Guardians. They can just keep launching Xin in. Normally we see the Xin with the Karma that is so strong, but Braum is a constant combination. He can follow him up. He can make him tankier. And when you have the backup from a Akali that is so distracting, and then Ezreal raining from the top, they just don't have the answers for him just yet. When Solo gets picked off and he has to play defensive, he's just not nearly as useful.
Solo again, you know, trying to battle Revenge, doing decently. W is good. Revenge taking a tower shot, actually, but should be able to get away. Set can't really follow you. Stride Breaker's off cooldown, so Revenge just going to walk away.
He's happy. to just take the turret shot and clear the wave. It just shows you how unafraid he is of this matchup right now. Has a stopwatch. Maybe he really wants to make an outplay. We don't see through the fog if there's anybody else on IMT, though, so he'll think twice a bit. Why? Because it's not necessary. It's just flat out an unnecessary play to look for, but he keeps the recall. He's still thinking about it because Nocturne is now approaching, but he should just cancel, or rather take this recall. Dragon is going to be up. This is Infernal Soul Point.
All right, minions look a bit spooky, but of course, cannot get in the brush and reveal you. That would be a problem.
Yeah.
As Golden Guardians are grouping to try and contest for this Soul Point, which is good. They do need to try and pick a fight here. It is tough. Oh, Riptail dropped in the mid lane as Chime gets caught, but thankfully not picked off. So they'll have, you know, the distraction of Shelly in the mid lane.
It's early, though. It's still 15 seconds on the Dragon, and so Revenge on Akali doesn't actually mind being out here because he will be looking for a flank angle anyways.
But it's never too early for vision, Crumbs, and that's what Golden Guardians get. Insanity maybe caught, pops the ulti. Oh, the fear proc on set. That is some unfortunate timing for the Golden Guardians squad looking for a pick. Stixie now getting dove on Xerxes. Solo Bolo in there, looking to try and make it happen. A Blaze Olive also diving into the backside, but Xerxes lives for so long. And IMT just can't do any wrong. Solo moving the back in, but Stixie once again finds himself assassinated by Akali as Revenge grabs a triple kill. And now Iconic is going to be left for dead as IMT collects yet another Bud Light ace.
He just went in 1v5, and it wasn't close. He still has flash. There was no instance where he was close to dying. The healing from the Gore Drinker was ridiculous. This is what happens when Xin is ahead. We warned you. We said giving Longsword to Xin was gonna be a problem, and look at what's happened now.
Alrighty, well IMT, they'll go ahead and grab that Dragon. They're pinging on to the Baron as well. Seems like it is time for this objective, and I don't think Golden Guardians can stop them.
They really can't. They're dead. You really can't stop anything when you're dead.
Oh, TP in. All right, this is the play. Golden Guardians know it's a little desperate, but they have to do something. They are very far behind now. 7.5k Chime. I don't know how you're going to steal it with a Q, but I believe in you. I'm sorry, that belief is perhaps unfounded, but hey, your job was very tough. As IMT do grab the Baron.
Well, someone believed in him, which is more than perhaps he fell for himself, because attempting a steal as Rakan is one of the most ludicrous things that happen.
So
it's going to be our Honda performance play here as we watch IMT re-engage onto the Golden Guardians. Watch Xerxes here, because he starts off landing his spear onto the most important member, sticks in and says, yeah, I will 1v5 you. I will go in here, focus everything you can on me, but because Stixie has to kite back, he's no longer in range to actually hurt the Xin. He doesn't just have the Gore Drinker, he's got the Stair Axe now and lives through it all.
I think Stixie might have died before he could pull the spears out. Part of the reason perhaps that Xerxes could live so long as lights are out again. Bottom side is where the play is happening. Solo just getting run down by Nocturne. Tries to dodge a face breaker, maybe needs to dodge a little bit more, but Revenge is here. Solo, he just wants to kill man, give him something. The team not able to reinforce. Fate's call for Chime finds 2 or 3 as the shutdown comes in for Iconic. They kill Insanity, but Stixie left out once again as Revenge is looking to play cleanup. And there's a nice ulti out of Braum. Does find one on the end of it there for Destiny as Xerxes slays Iconic. And back in we go as the Blaze Olive's trying to live, but the resets aren't enough. It's a third ace in a row, Crumbs.
That was a 4v5. Raze was not even involved. Didn't even shoot True Shot Barrage. What's he out there? He's chilling. It's a Bud Light ace. He's going home. Straight for the mid lane, right? And the other side of the world, taking an inhibitor. He's fine. He's chilling. He's got the Baron. And now they're going to just put the icing on the cake for this game. Once they crack this, it's clear that Golden Guardians just can't stop the bleeding. They don't have any wave clear. The melee champion meta, once you fall behind, you really fall behind.
And we did at one point note that Revenge was having an unfun time in lane. I'm pleased to report that Revenge is now having a very good time. 8, 1, and 11. 24, and no less, stacks on the Magi's Soul Stealer.
Okay.
And that was his second completed item, apart from boots.
Third now. He's got another one.
Okay. You know, that's cool.
You know, that's the classic Revenge storyline. Most revenges start by you not having a good time, and then finding your revenge, and then having the greatest time of all.
I'm very scared. Where's Insanity going? Oh, that's rude. That's quite a combo. The downtown snipe down on Stixie as Raze reinforces the Nocturne ulti on top. But this Callisto is having, like, it's just such a hard game to play.
you just can't do much as AD carries, as we see some players in other leagues just choose to move away from it. Xerxes just casual 1v4.
All right, here he is, 1v4. Goes golden, Destiny reinforcing. And now he's out of there. Solo's diving in, looking for the big face breaker, but he can't even W! Revenge just killed him! The stacks are maxed. IMT charging towards the Nexus. As Revenge is just spinning on everyone. Ultimate into the fountain. You won't. Oh, he doesn't have it. Never mind. Revenge doing the right thing, preserving the stacks, the pages, and the KDA. As IMT yeeting on down towards the enemy Nexus, because this game's over, Crumbs.
They started with a game plan. They got the advantage that they needed, and they never let go. This looked so clean out of IMT. Legendary.
He did do it. Ah, my fantasy. Not my fantasy. Someone's fantasy, Revenge. Think of the fantasy points. He got plenty. It's
He
fine.
did. He got. If you want more fantasy points from him, I'm sorry. He can't deliver more than that.
I don't remember. Oh, no, I do remember who Raz has on his fantasy team. I'm happy to report it is not Revenge.
Nice.
Because that would have been problematic, to say the least. All right, well, a fun one there. IMT kind of running away with it. Definitely much closer in the middle than the end of the game looked, but very impressive from IMT, leading on Xerxes, and the lead he got at that really well-executed level 1. I even think that because they saw Solo go back, they rerouted to go the inside track instead of wrap around the outside, which is real vibe head out of IMT.
Taking advantage of what the draft gave them. The Braum, knowing that you had ranged champions with the Ezreal to actually start proccing that because they sent him over to the top side. And this is what makes me think that IMT is looking like one of our top contenders. The quality of wins that this team shows currently is so impressive. When they get a lead, they're building upon it and closing the games out, for the most part, quite cleanly. This was one of them. Only one play did Golden Guardians find in the bottom side. Everything else was IMT all the way.
And right, flexible drafts, right? And clearly understand the different styles they're able to play and want to play. Strong individual performances, great teamwork, good jungler. They're getting closer, right? That's 14 and 15 now, if my memory serves. One game away from hitting 500, but it feels like with this trajectory, they'll be breaking that very soon.
Yeah, and right now they're at 7-4, so it's a pretty good record for this part of the summer split. They started at, I think it was 5-4 when they ended the first half, and a lot of those games felt like they really were up by a knife's edge, the backdoor from TSM, right? That was a game that could have been theirs. They had a few more like that, and all the while they've been experimenting as well. They brought out the Yuumi in the bottom lane, the Ziggs in the mid lane. So while they're still able to experiment and try new things, they still have clean games when they just stick to the basics with a draft that you could say is an all-around standard meta pick for today.
The classic Zero Scrims Yuumi game. It will live on forever.
That tells you something about Yuumi. That really does.
I mean, look, not the hardest champion to play, but it was cool in that comp. And again, IMT, this feels like everything is kind of evolving for them. For a team that I think have constantly said they weren't able to hit their stride because, getting everyone together, literally in the same place to play the game wasn't possible right at the start. And it does feel like the long season is rewarding them for the work that they've put in.
Yeah, I think the credit has to go to whatever happened in the off-season, in the middle of spring and summer. Obviously, coaching staff plays a big deal. The team looks so drilled, so better prepared than a lot of the teams right now, even the ones at the top. They're clearly executing on systems that they have used in the past, and they fall back to those every time, right? They say you fail to the level of your systems, and at the worst, IMT just falls back on those, and it looks good because they have them in place.
And the thing I love is there is more than one plan in every single IMT game. They can just do so much. So we're heading over to stage, to Xerxes, who's on stage with Dash for a Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. Xerxes 2-0 on the week so far, one game left to go. But today, it just looked like the team couldn't miss, firing on all cylinders. Explain to me what that felt like, because from start to finish, felt like a clinic.
So after we got the cheese in the top lane, we kind of knew the game was over because actually he was just typing, so I just knew the game is just over there. So yeah, pretty clean.
Okay, but break it down a little bit more, because I think some people will look at that, especially from our perspective as viewers, right? We have the omniscient view. We're not looking at fog of war. For you all, when you kind of see that interaction in the river, he sees Akali sees him. What's the communication like? Was that a pre-planned thing, or once you saw that, you're like, now we can take advantage?
I would say it was kind of in the spur of the moment.
Okay.
We just saw that she was in the tri-bush, and Revenge just told us, hey guys, we can do something here. And yeah, it just happened.
Right, so then you decided to add insult and injury and just keep going top lane, huh?
I mean, I had
You're
to.
a bully.
I couldn't let my top laner just
Yeah.
1v1.
Fair enough, fair enough. Xin Zhao was the pick in this one, and again, spectacular to watch you play it. It feels like such a dominant champion, but I have to ask you specifically, and maybe, hopefully you'll remember this play. Around 17 minutes into the game, Destiny in the Herald pit gets ganked by essentially 4 people, flashes out, he's safe, and you decide of all things it's time to go in 1v4. What?
I mean, the plan was for me and Destiny to have a 2v4 in the pit, but
he
he
missed you?
abandoned me. So
Where's Destiny at?
he's right there.
Explain yourself.
So it was supposed to be a 2v4, but he just abandoned me. So yeah, I guess I just have to 1v4 for my team.
All right, makes it easy. And then later we saw you essentially 1v5ing in the bot lane. It was really spectacular to watch. But now I kind of want to transition away from this game and understand a little bit more about Immortals and the journey that you guys are on this split. It's a 2-0 week so far, and it's been incredible to watch. You've beaten pretty consistently the teams below you in the standings. You've also had the ability to beat teams like 100 Thieves, as well as Cloud9 earlier in the split. So I'm curious, from your perspective, what is separating Immortals right now from finding the consistency to, take down any team and establish yourselves as a top 4?
I think right now there is a mixture of us like playing really good and having a really good team atmosphere, and the other teams just imploding. Like every other team is just changing the roster, just like random stuff happening. So I think it's a mixture of us like doing really good, other teams like doing way worse than everyone expected. So yeah.
Well, that said, your opponent tomorrow is that rematch against 100 Thieves. You've already taken them down once, but that's one of the teams that is not imploding at the top of the standings. So what do you think it's going to take them down tomorrow again, move to that 2-0 head-to-head in summer?
Well, I think it's going to be even more satisfying taking them down because they're the only team not imploding. So it's going to feel like an actual rewarding win.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing it if that becomes the case, and I'll probably see you back here on the stage then at the end of a 3-0 week.
Probably will.
All right, sweet. Congratulations on the victory here today. Thank you for taking the time to talk.
Thank you.
Also, I love this. I love this team atmosphere and support like you're talking about. We're going to a break. When we come back, the Analyst Desk will be closing out the day. We'll see you there.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. We are here at the end of our Saturday in week 4, is it? You know, sometimes it's a little hard to keep
I
track.
never know what day it is.
Yeah, days are hard, yo. But this was a great game from Immortals. I think there's a lot that we can say about Xerxes in a moment. But before we do, I do want to pay some respect to some of the positivity we saw from Golden Guardians, because going into this, we talked about how they are a team in development where we're looking at improvement.
And we saw some improvement. This was a damn good dive that we saw from him. I was really happy with what I saw. And a lot of it came in the setup, right? If you roll the clip, what you're going to see here is that at this point, they know that they outnumber Immortals on this side of the map because they have been tracking Xin and they know that he started Rift Herald. So it's a simple matter for them to just send Olive to cover bot because he knows the Nocturne is going to be heading there with ultimate, and they know they have a 4v3 no matter what because they have their jungler, and they do a really, really excellent job of juggling the tower aggro constantly because there are actually several engages under tower every time. So it's clear that they're communicating, okay, I'm too low to juggle aggro, so you go in first. So this is a lot of coordination from GG that we had not seen in the past, so I love the growth.
Yeah, super confident from specifically Olive on the redive, as you said. I think like holding his ultimate until seeing the blinks, at least like the attempt at escape, so you know you can chase them down. All of these things, it felt like they were calm during this moment.
Yeah, Olive is definitely one of the ones that we have noted as a source of strength for the team moving forward in all of their games. I want to talk about one of the sources of strength, though, on the Immortal side. Xerxes was really setting up his team for success when it came to all the fights and beyond.
Yeah, so we already know the story behind some of these fights with Xerxes going in, but I think the big thing with Xin is that he is deceptively tanky. And then, yeah, you see the Ezreal ult come across actually doing all the damage, but he set up 2 of his players for quadra kills today from some of his Xin Zhao engages, so.
Yeah, and like on top of that, you know, when you're going up against Golden Guardians, you're expecting the Viego there from a Blaze Olive, and it's always down to, okay, is he gonna get the reset? But versus this composition, it's really hard to do that. Especially like you talk about the deceptively tanky part, the ultimate that Xin Zhao has is so difficult for a team to deal with. There are moments like, there was that one bot lane play that I was looking at where it was like, yeah, he was so close to being able to get the kill, but the sustain that keeps him topped up, the inbuilt tankiness that he has, it was a really tough one for them to, find those fights initially, and then when they were behind, claw back in. It just didn't feel possible for the team.
The smallest sliver of HP brings him through, and it's the rest of the team that's following up on it as well.
It is, yeah, and it's like wind becomes lightning, Xerxes becomes unkillable.
Yeah,
but the rest of the team is also doing the job because someone needs to be doing the damage, right? And we saw multiple quadra kills in this very game. Some really, really good positioning, firm raise. He turned team fights, so that river fight, he turned completely with his ult. So I think all of Immortals showed up, and this is really exciting for a team that sort of struggled to find an identity last split, and now it seems like they've honed in on, okay, we're gonna run generally like 3 to 4 melee, and we're just gonna play around that dive constantly. So I'm really happy to see Immortals thriving in this regard.
Looking strong, bringing themselves closer and closer to being above 500 in their actual standings. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and check in on the standings, what they're looking at right now. 100 Thieves have officially joined TSM up in that #1 spot. So that is big news that we have here. I'm curious, what are you thinking of 100 Thieves in comparison to TSM as top teams?
I mean, I think 100 Thieves have a few more looks that they can go to. I think if TSM, and I'm not criticizing them for playing this style, I'm just saying if you choose to play towards scaling, a slower paced style, what you have to make sure is 2 things. One, you are making fewer mistakes than your opponents, where you don't leave like a lot of avenues for them to get ahead early, and you're also capitalizing on your opponent's mistakes when they happen. So I don't mind TSM sitting back and perfecting this play style, but that they have to shore up that in order to be like consistent across the board. Also, it's a single game. So
yeah,
I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, they're essentially, as you're saying, like they're just swimming upriver, where it just feels like understanding that, being aware what they're doing, that's great. But a lot of the times, like, well, how many Drakes are we going to be giving up for this? Like these type of things that TSM's, I mean, they've been having winning weeks, so I'm not concerned about them at all. It's more the comparison with them versus 100 Thieves that I think is really nice. And as you said, different looks. I'm really confident when 100 Thieves have been running Assassin's mid or support mid. They've just been looking good. And on top of that, man, if top lane's feeding, if they're having a bad day, it's bot lane that carries, and vice versa. So like, they are just, every member on that team can take the ball and roll with it.
Yep.
TSM and 100 Thieves holding nicely onto that top spot, but we also have to note Team Liquid, who have risen to third. If we take a look at the schedule that's coming up tomorrow as well, there's a lot of action going down. One of them is the Team Liquid match versus TSM. Jensen struggled a little bit to remember that was the upcoming match.
Yeah, well, hopefully TSM can remind him who he's facing. But I think Team Liquid is actually impressing me, right? Considering all the tumultuousness with, the coach resigning, with top lane changing, with jungle changing, what they've shown is that there's still a team with just really strong fundamental understanding of how to play the game, and they'll punish mistakes from weaker teams. I think this is a matchup where stylistically, TSM is going to be actually a little bit more comfortable than they were versus EG.
Oh,
I love this
God.
tweet as well.
The best thing about this tweet was literally like, they've been
The
coordinating
response.
tweets, by the way, and that's the coordination
Yeah,
a second
there we
later.
go.
I love
There it is.
Dude,
Yeah.
I love the violence on Twitter with these
Hey,
guys.
All of those TSM junglers now playing. Acadian's back.
There it is.
Armeo's playing, and oh my gosh,
All I know-
Spica is starting.
All I
so.
know is LCS is just TSM's junglers, playground. It is. It is. So, yes, I think that's going to be really fun to be able to see Armeo go up against Spica. But in general, as you said, Team Liquid have been playing really well, regardless of the changes around them. And it's been, for me, the veterans on the team that understood there's more responsibility on their shoulders. And on top of that, Armeo just playing damn well in both of his games coming in.
Yeah, Armea has played now in the lock-in, in mid-season showdown, and he's played now. So this guy's showed up in multiple critical moments for this team, and he continues to do so. So really impressed with him.
I mean, talking about the jungle shenanigans, my eye also went to the first match of the day. We have Dignitas versus EG. We've seen Acadian come through for the win. But I don't know, do you think Contracts was hot enough today where he'll maybe be making an appearance tomorrow?
I mean, they already came out and said in their statement that he's not going to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think what they did was they got a lot of great information based off this week. Now I want to see what happens with Svenskeren. At the end of the day, the team around Contracts played well. I thought Jizuka had a great day.
Yeah.
I thought they played really disciplined around their vision, where sometimes when they have everything in front of them, they just run straight in. And so, I thought that this was just a good day for the team, and I want to see if they get it rolling for tomorrow's game as well.
We've been blessed with a lot of junglers. A lot of junglers earning players of the game today, too.
Yeah.
So props to all of them. That's going to do it for us here, though. On behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire remote and live broadcast crews, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more LCS. Until then, good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night.
Bye.
Bye.